Carlo.
Going to meet Ryan for this Michelin Star restaurant. We'll see what's up with it. All right, first course. Shimashi. First taste. Interesting. Setup. How you feel? How you feeling?
Feeling great. I don't know how you go back to fast food after this.
Fast food, never. We're really spoiled out here. Can never go back. Like
Never go back.
Fridays,
Yeah.
Red Lobster. What? Hell no. Yeah, it's gonna go. Getting some good aromas there. This is so good.
Good.
Great signature. You know this got a bust. Crack open that dome.
Shorty crazy.
Man, vicious.
There we go.
Oh shit. Look at that ooey gooey. That ooey gooey goodness right there. Pretty cool designed bathroom, if I say so myself. Top it off. Cheers. All right, quick little recap of my trip to Bresca. I went for my friend Ryan's birthday a little bit early, but we had to celebrate and go out in style. I got me some notes because I definitely was probably going to forget a lot of the details, but this is just a quick rundown, give you a gist of all the different dishes. You know, you'll see on the video all the dishes, but just want to give you like just my perspective on how things were. So first they gave us like kind of like a pre-appetizer. So this wasn't even on the menu, and it was 3 different dishes. There was a Parmesan tart that had corn in it. It was like kind of creamy, and it was like in a small little wafer. The wafer was pretty good, I must say. Then they had the blueberry and like cucumber, kind of like a custard, and so that was creamy, like you ate it with a spoon. Really, it kind of seemed like a dessert, but with the cucumber flavor, kind of like was refreshing, kind of cleanse your palate a little bit. I guess that's kind of like to get you started. And then there was like a tomato that was in like this tomato, what they called it, tomato water, but it was kind of like olive oil, and it had some other like spices in it. So that was pretty good, and that was just to start you off. That wasn't even listed on the menu at all, so that was an extra surprise. I call it like a surprise extra course. So then the second course was called the shimaji crudo. So, you know, it was a piece of fish, and they put it in a bowl, and it was funny how they ornamented it. So they put the fish kind of like on the outskirts of the bowl, against the bowl, so it wasn't laying flat, and then they had the agua chili sauce at the bottom, and they had ornamented it with some flowers and things. But that fish and sauce combination was immaculate. Like something about that chili flavor was like really good. So that item, I'm not gonna lie, that was like the first real item, but it was, everything was good per se, but that was probably top 3 or 4 for sure, that dish. And then the next dish was the cavatelli. So technically that's the second course. You know, I kind of think of it as the third course after the appetizers. But the cavatelli, it reminded me of like lasagna, or kind of like beefaroni, like a top shelf beefaroni, if you will. It said there was lobster in it. I didn't really taste the lobster, but they might have had like one small sliver. I mostly just tasted the chorizo. They had a good tomato sauce, and they had, you know, kind of some heavy cream that they added to it, like whipped heavy cream, and that gave it more of a good feeling, if you will. So that was pretty good, especially as the second appetizer. So next was the salmon, and the salmon was pretty good. It was like really simple, like not too much spices were added to the salmon itself. I think it was cooked in buttermilk, but they also had like this green buttermilk sauce that was at the bottom just to add a little bit of flavor to it. And they served it with this squash, and the squash was actually stuffed with a little bit of salmon. And the squash was very good. I don't know what they added inside of there besides the salmon, but it was pretty good. The salmon itself, it was good, but it was nice and simple. So I wouldn't say like it was extra flavors that you hadn't tasted before, but it was just really nice, clean cut, simple. And then next, this was maybe one of my favorite dishes, was the rabbit. So they gave you the piece of rabbit, and then it was served with one kind of good sized carrot. It had like sesame seeds. The menu said something else, but the waiter said it was sesame seeds, and the carrot itself had like a light brown sauce to it. And then on the plate there was another like kind of darker brown sauce. And so the sauce gave it a richness to it, some sweetness as well. So that the rabbit was just really good. It had a really good flavor. It wasn't too gamey, and plus with the sauce, it was nice and hearty. And so at this point, this is where I was starting to feel. I wasn't full, but I could see how I was my stomach was starting to get filled up a little bit. So then next was the pork dish, and so the pork was locally produced. So they got it from somewhere in Virginia, I believe. And the pork was pretty good. They had a special, you know, they had another brown sauce. It was kind of similar to the rabbit to me, but it was pretty good. But what was really good was they had this what they call chestnut mocha, and it was like a drink. And that chestnut mocha was incredible. Like it was from what they said, like in addition to the chestnuts, it had kind of like some cinnamon. So it kind of tasted sweet. To me, I thought it kind of tasted like a sweet potato pie, kind of just like as a drink. It was creamy. And they said apparently like there was some savory to it. Like they added duck fat, or I don't know if it was the pork fat. I don't know if it was duck fat or pork fat, but they added that to the drink as well. So give it more flavor. And that was hands down the best part of the whole meal was that little drink. And it came about like this big, so you didn't get a lot of it, but it just added more flavors to the pork. The pork itself, it was kind of basic, I'm not gonna lie. Like it had a nice crispy edge to it, but in terms of the flavor of the pork, it kind of just tasted just like a pork loin. To me, the pork itself was probably the worst part of the whole meal. Like it wasn't bad, but nothing about it particularly stood out. So I think it was good that they accompanied it with the chestnut mocha. They had the sauce, and then around this time was when they provided you with the bread with the cultured butter. So you know that was a nice accompaniment to it. But that was kind of like how I would say that was overall the worst dish, but the mocha just bumped it up a little bit. And then lastly was the duck. There's an extra cost for it, but they allowed me and my friend to split it. So we basically split a single portion into 2 plates. So it was still a decent size, but I'm guessing the regular size would be double what we each got. But it was good. The duck, I would say I've had better duck, but it's not like there was anything bad with it. It just wasn't nothing that just like threw me over the edge per se. Like it was cooked well. This sauce was really similar to the same sauce they use for the pork, and they called it like their something Royale sauce, but it kind of tasted pretty similar to the sauce they use for the pork. Like it added a little bit of sweetness to it. It also came with the fig on the side, so the fig was I thought the fig was pretty good. I don't know if they boiled it, but it was soft. Um, so that was good. If I were to go back again, I don't think I would necessarily feel like I need to pay extra for the duck. It didn't the value add wasn't enough for me to go back. But if it's your first time, I would say definitely go try it. Just to say you try it, you might have a different opinion for how you thought the duck tasted. Um, then lastly was the dessert, which was like a blueberry pavlova, and it was interesting. So essentially, there's like this white thing in the middle, and surrounding it is like the blueberry. There's like tapioca, and so they told us we had to crack open the white thing, and so when you crack it open, that's where you get there's like some lemon tart to there. It's like it was weird because it looked like it was soft like whipped cream or something, but it was actually a little bit tough, and it was kind of like a wafer, kind of had like a shortbread wafer consistency to it, but it was pretty good. Like it contrasted well with the lemon. The blueberry itself, there was a lot when it comes to the blueberry tapioca and like coconut flavor. So and it was a really healthy portion. So it was a lot. So I think that's what definitely took me over and fulfilled like my appetite. I didn't expect that big of a portion for a dessert because normally they give you like those small bites just to taste. It was good. It was just a lot, the tart flavor, depending on what you like the lemon. The lemon, you definitely tasted the lemon once you cracked open the white. I don't know what you call it, the white whipped cream looking thing. So lastly, they kind of gave us assorted desserts to end it off. So this wasn't on the menu either. Um, but it wasn't nothing crazy. There was like a lemon tart. There was this wafer. I think it had like cinnamon. It was kind of soft though, but it was pretty small. It was really good. And then also they gave us like a salted caramel, kind of just something to eat as you walk out the door kind of thing. And then in terms of drinks, we kind of finished off our nightcap with the espresso martini, but this was made with a dark rum. It tasted how espresso martini tends to taste. Wasn't too strong flavor, alcohol or coffee, kind of just right in the middle. It's cold. They have the foam. I must say though, the just me comparing it, I had the same espresso martini at Crane's, and I'm not gonna lie, I thought the Crane's one was a little bit better, just because it comes with espresso beans in it, and something about it had a crispness to it. It is what you asked for, so I can't say there's anything wrong with that, but it wasn't nothing that like wowed me per se. And then in terms of the wines, so I tried the Sauvignon Blanc first. It wasn't bad. It was a little bit more on the dry side. It was crisp, but definitely on the dry side. So it was kind of acquired taste, depending on if you're a real wine drinker or not. And I didn't necessarily think that it went with the items that were in the top of the line of the order. So the reason I had ordered the white wine first, Sauvignon, was just because they were serving the fish first, the salmon. So I thought just looking at it with the appetizer and then you get the salmon and the fish, I felt like white wine should go pretty well with it. So that's why I started with the white wine. I didn't think it necessarily really went with the things. So what I tended to do was just eat and then kind of cleanse my mouth with water, drink a little water, and then like in between the meals was when I was sipping on the wine. So that was the white wine, and then when we got towards the end half, that's when I ordered a cab sauv. So the cab sauv was really good. It was a medium body, but it had a good flavor and richness to it. So I got that right when we ordered the pork. So I thought it contrasted really well with the brown sauces of the pork and the duck as well. Um, the only thing that kind of threw me off was, like I mentioned, that chestnut mocha. So they gave you the chestnut mocha to drink while you eat the pork, but I had the wine that went with it too. So though the chestnut mocha and the wine flavors kind of clashed, so I had to kind of choose. Okay, for these next couple bites, let me just use the chestnut mocha and then cleanse my palate with the water, and then maybe the next couple bites do it with the wine. So that was the only thing that was kind of on my mind. But overall, that wine was pretty good as well. Didn't opt for the flight this time just thought that would have been a lot of wine. They give you a different wine for each course. Kind of wasn't feeling it up for it this time, but next time, definitely think we might try the wine. So I don't know, next month or so, we're going to think of going to another place, so stay tuned.